Hi there, welcome to the vendor introduction series brought to you by the Cyber Hut. My name is Simon Moffat, I'm founder and research analyst at the Cyber Hut. And in our vendor introduction series, I get to speak with super smart founders and co-founders of a whole host of identity security companies all around the globe to understand a little bit more about their mission and vision to solve some of today's most prescient problems. And absolutely thrilled to have Benny from Twine Security join me. Benny, thank you for joining.
Thank you very much. It's really fun to be here. Thank you.
Appreciate taking a little bit of time out. I know how busy it is building companies and meeting with customers and building software and platforms. So I certainly appreciate taking a little bit of time out. And for those who have not seen one of these episodes before, I essentially get to ask our esteemed guest three very important questions to understand just a little bit more about how they see the industry. And I always start off with the first question, which is essentially opening the floor and what is the problem that Twine Security is looking to solve? Benny, over to you.
We are solving the biggest problem, of course. uh, by bringing agentic AI to cybersecurity, Twine is solving one of the biggest problems in cybersecurity, the execution gap. Every CISO knows that there are always too much to do and too little time and resource to actually do it, which leaves the organization exposed. At Twine, we think that Gen AI was the first significant wave of AI innovation, proving fast that anyone can create tasks, image, or video, like we're doing every day now with our LLM. Like the next wave that we all believe in is going to be agentic AI, like AI agent that are going to work alongside us. In cybersecurity, this means a huge opportunity. At the end, think about today in cybersecurity leaders, they're spending their time building security programs, buying different tools, building different processes, but they're really secure or not based on what really happened in the ground, what actually doing day to day in the execution. Finally, with agentic AI, we can actually ensure that what we planned, our strategy is actually executed. And we really know if we are following our control, we don't follow in our controls, we can enforce them in a much better way, which can really change the way of cybersecurity is working. So at the end, what we really build is AI digital employee who execute tasks from A to Z to help the cyber team to close the talent gap and the resource gap. Our mission, by the way, is much more than just a data team. Is to create an AI cybersecurity workforce for the future.
That's amazing. It's a hugely ambitious plan. I think it's fascinating stuff. I think identity and cyber and even data, it's plagued by so many problems around lack of resources, effort, human error, in honesty, things like access review, access request, cleanup of permissions, all of that it's effort. It's effort which is not always available. I think you mentioned sort of finite resources, finite budget, and time. And I do think a lot of those tasks people have tried to automate them, haven't they, over the years? And I'm quite intrigued by this digital employee aspect. I think it's a real, technically, I guess we'll maybe touch on that, but I think conceptually, it's quite a powerful thing. It's almost like this sort of robot army that we can now sort of employ to do some things, and that I guess it brings a few changes in thought. But I guess agents, they don't get tired, they don't get sick of repetition, and they can learn and they can adapt as well. So it's a fascinating thing, and I guess sort of rolls into the second part.
Exactly to your
Go ahead,
point,
Ben.
and maybe I'm ruining the format, so sorry, but exactly to your point, at the moment that we have agentic AI, think about that basically we have employee that are available all the time. They can basically, every single step that we're taking, we can help and make sure that we're doing the right thing. So you mentioned the certification process. When today it's a very, very challenging process because at the end, we are sending to people that are not expert in identity, take decisions, and we cannot really, walk them through the process all the time. Imagine that every person that does access review in your organization now have the best IM person sit next to him. And when he take a decision, I approve it or reject it, he can ask him why. And what does it mean? and then use the reasoning, the reason of the decision to understand better about who's supposed to have access and who not, and to extrapolate this kind of decision. So it's not just about doing what we did until now. We can actually, it's opened us endless amount of opportunity to understand better the business context, so to really be secure there. And sorry, I jump in between.
No, that's absolutely perfect. And I guess I'm going to ask a little sort of sub question there. I mean, do you think the main benefit will be sort of assisting the human, if you like, as this sort of like parrot on the shoulder, like a co-pilot assistant, or do you think over time that these agents will be able to complete tasks entirely autonomously and entirely without human intervention? What's your sort of view there? I'm guessing it's probably a bit of both ultimately.
It's both. And what we are seeing right now, like for Alex today, our IM expert, is already taking full tasks, full processes from the IM team, but in the same time is the assistance of the business. Like think about all the different times that basically a person from the business that don't understand IM don't have access, or don't have he have an identity question they don't know the answer to. So he's the assistance for them, and is like the doer, the full autonomous agentic AI for the IM team itself.
Fascinating stuff. I think it's definitely a mind shift, isn't it? I think it's definitely a sort of concept shift in there, and I sort of want to sort of amplify a little bit as to why are we more accepting of this today? Is it the fact that we have more stuff to do? We have more identities to manage, we have more security alerts, we have more security controls, we have more compliance, we have everything just seems to be bigger. All the problem statements are bigger. So is that why this has become more relevant, or is it just in conjunction with the fact we do have AI technology now which can solve perhaps problems which we just couldn't do 10 years ago?
It's both. Like first, of course, from security perspective, we all know that identity become the attack vector. Then number one way attacker exploit different organization. So this lead, of course, to a shift from a pure operational thing to a security thing. It's mean that we invest in more tools, we add more processes. Of course, we need to have more people, and then it's become more complex, so our people cannot really handle it. So this generates a huge push of why it's very, very difficult today to properly execute your identity cybersecurity program from one end. And the second side, of course, is the opportunity from the technology perspective. Like we see the revolution of AI, and we can look about AI. It's going to be steps, right? And it's the easiest way to see it is in cars, right? Like we start with a simple assistance kind of stuff. Like I call it like we've been in the traditional AI, like general neural network, and then we move to the search and query LLM kind of thing that we're doing a lot, and then we are going to more like agentic AI assistance, like not fully autonomous, but human in the loop. And of course, at the end, it's going to be fully autonomous. And we did the same exact journey with cars, and we see how much time it's take. And now we're going to do the same kind of thing exactly for cybersecurity and any other market out there. And it will take time, like in cars. Like 10 years ago, we already spoke about it. We already expect it, but we're really starting to use it. So we need to have the patience, but the technology is finally enable us to do this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Actually, I think you talk about things like autonomous driving and and so on. It's like it's such a shock, and it creates friction, and it creates the sort of change in thoughts. But I think that just really, to me, reaffirms the fact that is the strategic direction, because the alternative it will be entirely ignored, and that never happens. You see, so I think to me, it is when you have that friction and that discussion and the change and the gradual sort of understanding, absorption, that to me sort of ends up being a trend versus something which is trendy. I think it's fascinating stuff. I really do. And I think we are starting to see the complexity, the overload of tasks, and just the ability for the adversaries are using automation, be it AI or just automation in general. I think to keep up, you have to be able to use resources effectively, and maybe initially it's the human in the loop with a sort of an assistant or a co-pilot, but then obviously longer term that can proliferate out into more autonomous things. So I think this is fascinating stuff. What's Twine's secret sauce? I guess. What have you seen? What are you building out, and what does that sort of look like from your sort of platform?
Yeah, so basically, Twine was the first company to drive this market. Like we start very, very early, and we were really luxury because we are coming from this space. We are building cybersecurity solution for large enterprise for the last 15, 20 years, and we saw it really eyes in eyes, like in the field. What are the real execution challenges people have? And so we start really early. This is one. And second, I think, which is even more important, is because of our history in the market, we are able to leverage it in order to actually build Alex with the best enterprise design partners in the world. So basically, we use our credibility, our existing relationship from Clarity, which was I was the founder over there and CTO, and we work with like the biggest cybersecurity program in the world for the last 2 years. This is what we are doing, and building together with them the product. Like I cannot share names, of course, because it's like we know the market. But think about it: that Alex parents, the people that educate Alex and train him for the last 2 years, are the biggest cybersecurity program and the most advanced one in the world. And this is what we really did, basically. So today, with all the experience that we got, with all the success that Alex already able to generate in this kind of environments, now we are really, really, really strong position to just, who don't want to have the best IM person from a very advanced security enterprise that have a security program. Like it's easy as that.
It's just fascinating, isn't it? It seems like it's already sort of entering the realm of being able to do things perhaps which humans can't. Consume that vast information set, process it, look for differences, look for things which I guess the human brain possibly would never be able to achieve. So it's exciting stuff. I think it's a very, very different approach to what we've sort of seen and had in the past with sort of basic automation around things like access cleanup and access certifications and things like this. And I do see the proliferation of that agentic world into lots and lots of different parts of the identity lifecycle, from the data aspect, but there's the behavior aspect, there's response and recovery, there's fulfillment, there's discovery, there's a whole host of different sort of agents in my head I could see being created there. And I think, as you say, as you build out this body of knowledge and the ability to learn and relearn, I think it's a fascinating area. Definitely one that possibly couldn't have existed maybe 3-5 years ago for sure. So it's definitely one that is on the cusp of something very different to how we use technology. So, Benny, thank you for taking some time out. I appreciate giving us the lowdown on Twine security and all of your ideas and concepts there. It's certainly a very, very fascinating area, and I do see this certainly one which will grow and grow in the years to come. So, Benny, thank you for taking a little bit of time out. Thank you to our audience for watching. This has been another episode in our vendor introduction series, and I will see you next time. Thank you.